In the first panel, John says, "A mouse! Get it!" The second panel has Garfield looking at John Snow like, "Garfield, you didn't even try." In the third panel, he said, "Show me a good mouser, and I'll show you a cat with bad breath." It's corny, but I'll give you this. At least it's a little funny. Hello, everyone. This is Kevin, your Aptrepreneur, and I don't have the beanie back, but hey, what do you think? Huh? Okay? Maybe? There's a lot of stunned silence here. I think I'm just going to continue with the video. So I was watching another YouTuber who was commenting on this, and I was inspired to comment on it myself. For those of you who do not know, Nene is a comedian of sorts. I mean, who isn't a comedian these days? Some people say I'm a comedian, and that concerns me because I'm not trying to be funny. But people say everyone's trying to be a comedian. And Nene went to Oakland, California, and did a joke that bombed. And the thing with stand-ups is when they bomb in a joke, one of the things that they try to do is they try to save the joke. They try to save it, and they will usually try to save it by doing something outrageous or saying something very, very offensive. And this is what was said. Now, personal opinion, I don't think that was very funny. If you didn't hear, she basically bombed on her joke. She got heckled, and then she said, "I hope you get raped by your Uber driver, and, he takes your Hello Kitty home." What is a Hello Kitty? Well, it ain't Garfield, and it's not even this thing. It's something else. Think real hard about it. Now, this joke was not on my radar. I wasn't going to comment on it. I don't think I should have to, but then Drive Girl Drive made a video, and it's a good video, and I wanted to elaborate and give you my own two thoughts. For the record, her video is below. I'm going to share my thoughts, and I'm going to warn you up front, we're about to get a little political here, folks. So Cecily asked this question after she commented on it and asked, do you think this woman should have been fired for telling a joke? Because the joke was offensive and it was mean-spirited. It created a bad perception where Uber drivers, all of us, were basically called rapists in one fell breath. And worst of all, in my opinion, the holy grail of all the sins, it wasn't funny, which is the entire point of the joke. And that is where, we have to first start. Was the joke funny? And I cannot definitively speak for everyone. I personally do not feel the joke was funny. Not because of the stereotype it implied, not because of what was said, but because it wasn't constructed well, it wasn't thought out well, and you can tell why it wasn't thought out well. It's because she had just bombed a joke, and she got heckled, and guess what? She tried to save it. And everybody does that. Some comedians are a little better at it than others. Joan Rivers, she could take a heckler situation and turn it on its head very, very well. Kramer from Seinfeld, when he got heckled, "He's a nigger! He's a nigger! He's a nigger!
Oh my God!
A nigger! Look, there's a nigger!" Bottom line, the joke, it didn't work, and it wasn't a good save, and obviously, if that were all it was, I wouldn't even bother making the video. But because people were offended by the joke, she got fired. Now, to understand why people were really offended by the joke, you have to keep in mind that we've just had this jerk-off basically abusing his power, and Hollywood is really sensitive about the topic of rape and, unwanted sexual advancement. It's not really something you want to be joking about right now. And I personally believe that as a comedian and as someone who is protected by the First Amendment, you are free to say whatever you want. You are free to joke about whatever you want. I may disagree with what you have to say. I will defend your right to say it, though. I also, however, believe that freedom of expression does not mean freedom of consequences. Now, as for the firing, I think it was fully done because people are being a little extra sensitive right now. And I believe it was whoever's running the tour, whoever's running the show, they have the right to fire her if they want. Would I have personally fired her over this joke? This joke? No, to be perfectly honest. In my opinion, the biggest problem is that it just simply wasn't funny. And there were probably other jokes that were said, some that were probably more offensive. I wouldn't put it past. I have watched people like Andrew Dice Clay, Chris Rock, and Ralphie May, and to a lesser extent Amy Schumer, all speak very, very offensive jokes. And say very, very offensive things that make you cringe when you hear them. And yet, I laughed. Because as wrong as it was to say those things, they were funny. They were totally funny. And that is what a joke is supposed to do. This joke didn't land. And the reason she got fired is not only was a joke that didn't land, it was a joke that didn't land on a topic that people aren't particularly feeling in the mood to joke about right now. And, Cecily asked, should this be a situation used to discuss, driver safety? Yeah, here's the thing. The average Uber and Lyft driver are not going to do anything to you. They just aren't. And it's not because Uber and Lyft's background check is the most solid thing in the world. It's not. I clearly understand it is not the most secure thing in the world. And there's going to be some creeps on there. I just know it because most people who are doing it, they are doing it to make money. They are trying to support their families. They are trying to work towards a goal of something, or some people are just trying it for the heck of it. Most people are not using the platform to prey on people. And here's the thing. Yes, we have seen stories where Uber drivers have abused that privilege. But guess what? They didn't last very long. They got fired pretty quickly. Most of them even got arrested. So if you want to do something nefarious and get away with it, Uber is not the platform you want to be on. Whether you're a driver or a rider. Because here's the thing, if you're a rider and you have nefarious goals and you want to hurt your Uber driver, keep in mind your information, your credit card number, your phone number, all these things are in the Uber app. You are going to get caught. They can even trace the phone if they want. I don't believe for a second they're not tracing the calls or the phone. So, the more I think about it, I am reminded of the Cathy Griffiths joke where she was holding up the severed head of someone who looked like Donald Trump. That, I admit, I had a much bigger gut reaction to. And I think it was because, again, it wasn't supposed to be funny. It was meant to provoke, but it wasn't made to laugh. She didn't make that joke to make you laugh. She didn't make that joke to make you think. She didn't make a political statement. I'm not even sure what she was trying to do, in all honesty. I mean, here's the thing. As someone who definitely leans conservative, but does not consider Donald Trump my guy, so to speak. I mean, it's one thing for Chris Rock to go on the Academy Awards, hosting it, and joking about how he has a lot of respect for President Bush because it must be really hard to be the president when you are working a job and you have a major movie in theaters, which at the time was Fahrenheit 9/11, telling you how much you suck at that job. And then compared the deficit to being short of money at the Gap. Politically, I don't have to agree with that, but it's funny. It's funny, and you know what? Even if I disagree with what he's saying, he has something he's saying. And Cathy Griffith, when she did that, it wasn't adding anything. Nene, when she did this joke about the Uber drivers, she didn't have anything to say. She wasn't making a joke. Do I think she should have gotten fired? I personally would not have. I think a talking would have sufficed, personally. I don't think comedians really should get fired unless a joke bombs so hard and gets so toxic that you see the results financially. And that's what happened to Cathy Griffith. She started finding people were canceling shows. People were asking for refunds on their tickets. And so venues canceled her because they were losing money. We don't know if Nene's joke actually was going to have any implications, and I get a little upset when companies and managers assume that there will be implications. And again, this is all for a joke I didn't think was funny. But that said, again, she did choose to say it. And she chose to make it at a very, very sensitive time. So I understand why it happened. And we're just going to have to see, what I think she'll probably rebound because, to be perfectly honest, she's not big enough for this to kill her career right now. She's just going to be fired off this particular tour. But now I need to pass a question off to you guys. Did you think the joke was funny? If you did, tell me why. If you didn't, also tell me why. Would you have fired her, or would you have let her keep her job? I would love to know, so comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member for as little as $1 a month. And, what do you think of this? And what do you think of this? It's like a cross between a cap and a beanie. I could be the beanie rideshare guy who also is mimicking the #1 rideshare YouTuber without being a direct copy. I wonder. Let me know. What do you think? Comment below. And as always, flame responsibly.